Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode on my channel, the Tetragrammaton channel. For those of you guys that don't know what the Tetragrammaton is, but thought, yo, that sounds like something really cool. Well, it is, because it's the Hebrew four-letter word that spells out God's name, Yahweh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds like something straight out of Transformers, man. Alright, so in today's episode, I am going to cover something a little spooky, something scary, something straight out of a Halloween movie. And tell you what, I don't enter this topic lightly, actually, but I do add my own personal humor because I'm just silly. But please don't take my lighthearted approach to this as being any... this is a serious topic, to put it mildly. Terrible things happen to people. And we're talking about devils, demons, and spirits, and ghosts. And how, for example, my spiritual journey in the wrong direction made me bump into these things. I realize in retrospect that certain warnings were given to me, but I didn't heed those warnings. So I'm going to talk about them a little bit as well. Now, I don't have a script as usual, so I'm just sort of, as they say, letting the Holy Spirit inspire me to say the things that need to be said in the way that they need to be said, so that you will be given a clear message. Holy Spirit, I do reach out for divine inspiration at these times, although I do it more inside myself. But I do that, as most. It's prudent, or else I wouldn't know what to say on the fly, you know? Okay, so back in the days, a few years ago, I was an avid Buddhist, and I had moved into the realm of esoteric Buddhism, because the standard secular Buddhist teachings could no longer teach or talk about the things that were obviously experientially obvious. No secular Buddhist teacher is going to be able to tell you what's going on when ghosts are hovering around you, right? I mean, so of course I migrated into the realm of the mystical, esoteric teachings that have, in their perspective, a very logical explanation for these things. I didn't see them yet through the Christian lens. For some reason, my brain just wasn't going there. Anyways, I mean, the Buddhists have a major cosmology and a metaphysical explanation for why these things are and where they might come from and how to deal with them. Now, some Buddhist sects are much more pragmatic about the interaction between spirit entities, and other Buddhist sects are far nuttier. In different places in Asia, it can go straight out into the realm of summoning spirits to go and do things that are less than constructive, actually, and then you wonder, hey, you guys really Buddhists, or are you a bunch of demon worshippers? But that's something else. You can probably read all about that on the internet if you really want. Anywho, so before I went to my first really dedicated hardcore meditation retreat, I was doing a bunch of research online, and I'm what you call a polymath, which means I have very many interests spread out, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I really like to get into different things, and suddenly before you know it, I'm spending way too much time researching a really strange thing that nobody else really cares about. But for me, they're really, really interesting. Odd, isn't it? Anyways, so I'm researching about all the different sort of dimensions that have been sort of talked about in the realms of meditation techniques, where it comes from, what were the ancient Tibetan practices before the emergence of what we will call Buddhism there now. What were the Jains up to in India, you know? What were the Brahmins up to in India before this guy from the Kshatriya line comes up and becomes the Buddha, so to speak? And what happened over there all those years afterwards? And what were people doing in other places before, for example, insight meditation as taught by the Buddha was done? And there's a myriad of weird and exciting things. And one thing that caught my mind was obviously the hand mudras, you know? Again, internet, that stuff, Wikipedia and Dr. Google will tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, and for you guys that have, here's a cool one, for you guys that have watched Naruto growing up, you know, they do all those crazy things with their hands, you know? Now, that's actually a thing. That's a secret technique from the ancient ninja training of ancient Japan, right? And it's a big deal. It's a form of spellcasting, and it's very, very bad. Do not. It's like going and buying. It sounds like fun and games, like a Ouija board being sold at a toy store. But it's really dangerous. It really is, and hopefully you'll never experience the downside of it. And I would say stay away from all of it. It's a bunch of well-branded garbage, let's put it that way. And for a lot of people listening to this that don't necessarily see it from my perspective, this might be offensive, but deal with it. So I was looking up online, and there was this guy out of nowhere, and I've always liked martial arts, and I think he was like a Buddhist and then became a Christian convert, and he used to wear in his videos he'd often wear a gold necklace with a cross on there. You know, we get very identity oriented in one way or the other, and we're so convinced that that our path was right. And here's this guy, this YouTuber called, I'm gonna have to cut all that out, that made no sense, is Chosun Ninja. It's an interesting channel. Probably very cool for a lot of people out there. If you like ninja outfits and throwing stars and Karate Kid stuff, it's probably pretty cool. But he talks a lot about his path through in faith, right? And he's like a Christian.